Welcome to the after show video of Francis von Zerneck's Head Full of Useless Information About Movies with our guest this week. We just wrapped up the show, and this is the after show video, as I just said. David L. Snyder, great production designer, Academy Award nominee for Blade Runner, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, a movie that I love, and I love your work on that.
Thank you.
And well, Racing with the Moon, which is a fantastic movie, and you did great work on that. And Soldier, Mario, the Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Which has gained a lot of popularity now, like later.
It has. It's one of those films that's gone from disaster to cult status.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I just try to do my job, and so now later in my career, I try to work on films that I like the script, and it's something I'd pay to see if I had to, or I'd like to go and see. And in the past, I was motivated by how much art direction is there going to be. Are there going to be a lot of sets? Well, then I want to do this movie. Well, now that I've done millions of dollars worth of sets, it's not the key thing that interests me anymore. The thing that interests me is do I like the story, and is my stuff can just be in the background now. I'm very satisfied with the work that I've done. But Racing with the Moon, for example, is something that I would have done in any case. And I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but it was written by Steve Kloves, who wrote all the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, I didn't know.
And it was Steve's first screenplay before he did The Fabulous Baker Boys, which he also directed. But he's had an entire big chunk of his career writing the Harry Potter movies, which I'm sure was probably a good choice.
I would think so.
And so I'd like to see him get back to that, because at the age of 26 years old, he wrote a movie about World War II, 1942, and he wasn't even alive at the time, so he had no reference to it except in his research. And we had Nick Cage and Sean Penn and Carol Kane, Elizabeth McGovern. I mean, it was a great cast, and I love the movie. I think it's terrific.
Let's talk a little bit about, because I think to a lot of people, and definitely to me, Blade Runner is like an important movie to us, like a particular generation. I think now current generations that I'm not a part of, which is the sign of a very important movie. It's from the great Philip K. Dick short story. And what's the title? Android's Dream.
Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yeah. And directed by the great Ridley Scott. What was that like? I know that's a silly question, but...
Well, what it was like, it started out with, once I decided that I was going to take the job, because Larry Paul said to me, I'm going to ask you one more time, and if you say no, I'm going to get somebody else. Because he really wanted me, and I really loved him, and his decorator, Peg Cummings, who was his fiancée at the time. I loved them both personally and liked to be around and work with them. And he brought me in and said, okay, you're hired. I signed a deal memo. And he brought me into Ridley's office, and he was sitting at his desk at the Sunset Gower Studios before we moved to Warner Brothers. And he brought me in and he said to Ridley, I want you to meet David Snyder. He's going to be your art director. And Ridley was there at his desk smoking his Macanudo and stood up like a gentleman and shook my hand, and he said, too bad for you, chap. And
he knew.
Sat down, and I walked out the door, and I said, what was that? And he knew that, his philosophy was, you're either going to make this movie with me, and we're going to make it my way, or you're not going to make the movie with me. And so, in the very beginning, there were people who decided that they were going to decide what the props were going to be. They were going to decide what the costumes were going to be. They were going to decide how they were going to do it, because they'd been around in a studio system where a director was kind of a guy that was brought in
hired hand
to tell a story
yeah.
and to compose shots
Mm-hmm.
and you know, in a linear fashion tell the story. And I'm the prop guy. I've been doing this all my life, and don't tell me what to do.
Right, right.
They've been around too long, you know, and I've been around a long time, but I know how to transition, and that's why I'm still working at this point after, I don't know, 40 movies. I lost count. And so, in any case, I was new, so I didn't realize that to some people this was bad behavior on the part of the director, who had just come from England after making Alien, of course.
Alien, huge. Yeah, yeah.
And they thought, what's this guy coming here telling me what to do? He's not even an American.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I didn't think anything about that at all, and I decided that I didn't want to be in that club, the critical club. I just wanted to learn something from the guy that made Alien, and all the films, you know, the Duelist.
Yeah,
Alien.
yeah.
And I thought, I wanna work with this guy. And in the very beginning, it was, you know, like it was, you know, baptism of fire. You know, and got thrown into the water, got thrown into the fire. So I just came back and, you know, boxed with him a little bit, and eventually, when he realized that I was going to be on board, the next thing that happened, Larry came to me and said, well, I hate to tell you this, but he wants you on set all the time. He wants you there to take all the things that we put together between hundreds of people, and he was going to look through the lens, and he was going to make every shot a painting, every shot a beauty shot. Every single frame of that film is you could take any frame of that film.
And he did just that, yeah.
And once I could see that, I said, well, this guy is way ahead of me, but I have to keep up with him. And so that part was difficult. And there'd be times when I would do something that I would say, oh my God, they turned the lights on behind the set in the 40-degree below storage room where Hannibal Chew was with the eyes, where I had made icicles on the roof for 3 days with a Hudson sprayer. And by the way, when you watch the film, you can see the icicles go up and down throughout the editing. And so they turned the lights on in back of the cabinets.
Wait, back up. So this is like The Exorcist. That sequence was shot on a refrigerated set.
Oh,
so everything is frozen, it's actual frozen water.
Oh yeah, yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this scene where Harrison Ford comes in to find out about the eyes, right?
He comes in to find out about the scale, but the
scale,
scene
right?
about the eyes is Rutger Hauer and Brian James. Come in for clues.
Yeah.
And so the exterior was on the Warner Brothers backlot where it said LA Eyeworks, which is a product placement. And then they walk into the shop, and we were in Vernon, California, in a cold storage room. And it was like, 40 degrees,
Oh, see, that is filmmaking.
So
yeah.
I had a guy in there with a coat on for 3 days with a sprayer. And I had to make icicles, and I said, okay, I'll be right back. You come back, the guy's in there with the sprayer. So I made all these cabinets out of a material called Kydex. It's sort of like fiberglass, but it's plastic, and you can mold it. And so I had it all painted to make sure that, it would be opaque.
Right.
You cannot see through it, opaque. So they put all the lights behind it, and all of a sudden you could see the texture of the Kydex. And I said, he's going to kill me. He's going to come in there, he's going to kill me. And he walked in the room and he said, oh, that looks great. As if I had planned it that way.
Right.
Then on the other hand, the first day of shooting in Tyrell's office, the floor was like glass until we decided to take the 8-foot square columns and turn them upside down because it would look better, and it does.
Yeah.
Because you see, the walls were shaped like this, and the pillars were shaped like this. And he said, wouldn't it be a great idea if the pillars were shaped like that? Let's turn them upside down. So after the forklifts ran all over the floor and destroyed the floor, somehow or other, through good luck, it was a consistent destruction of the floor. And he walked on the stage, and I said, he's going to kill me because the floor's all scratched up. He says, oh, that looks great.
Yeah, okay.
Other times I would come up with something, and I say, isn't this great? You know, thinking it was great. He said, I hate it. So you just never knew.
What was it like to see for the first time the actual, like, that? Let's say the Tyrell's office for the first, when Sean Young walks in with that outfit and the cigarette in her hair and all the ingredients put together. What that must have been for a young art director at the time.
Well, it was amazing. Larry Paul designed that particular set, the Tyrell Corporation. It was my job, you know, to get it built, and with Tom Royston, the decorator at the time, to get it dressed. And so, first day shooting, I walked in and I saw it, and I saw the scale of it. And of course, outside the window, the background was a optical effect, not digital at the time. An optical effect, which was done over and over again. And beyond Sean Young walking into that set with the cigarette and Harrison Ford, with the beautiful clothes that were designed by Charles Node and Michael Kaplan, I was there the day that she was in makeup, hair, and wardrobe, and Marvin Westmore and Shirley Paget, and he's from the famed Westmore family. It's like 6 generations of makeup, going back to Mary Pickford. I brought them to Ridley because I had worked with them on the Idolmaker just before that, and I said, Shirley Paget used to do like Elvis Presley's hair, and Marvin did, and we did this 50s, 60s movie, and because Ridley really didn't know anyone in town, he just said, recommend somebody. So they came on, and when Sean Penn walked out of the makeup trailer, Sean Young, thank you.
That would have been bizarre.
Yes,
different movie.
Sean could do drag.
Yeah.
So she walked out of the trailer in that black dress, and I'm not kidding you. The traffic on the main street in Warner Brothers, machines stopped, cars stopped, everyone stopped, and I'll never forget that image. Matter of fact, I posted it today because of the anniversary.
30th anniversary Blu-ray.
Yes, and she looked so stunning that I'd never seen anyone that beautiful in my time in the movies, on a movie set, except maybe in a movie about movies with Rita Hayworth.
Right,
as an example. Ava Gardner, Rita Hayworth, all the most beautiful women of all time. And there she stood, live, and I'll never forget it. She was one of the most beautiful creatures that I had ever seen, and anything I had anything to do with. Then when she walked in the set...
Oh, it must have been...
It was so stunning that to this day when I look at it, I wish that I could erase my memory for 2 hours and watch that movie and see what it's really like, because I know too much about it. You know, I know it all, and I wish I could see it through someone else's, you know, through their mind's eyes.
Someday I want to invent like a little pill that makes me be able to see movies like the Taxi Driver, The Exorcist for the first time.
Oh yeah,
So I've seen these movies more than the editor. I've seen these movies, and to be able to see these things, experience these things for the first time or from a different perspective,
so the next time you get a concussion,
I'm going to go right to a DVD player.
I think you should do is run it.
Well, this is, you know, if you like what we're saying, what David's saying here, click on the link above and listen to the show in its entirety. Franz von Zerneck's Head Full of Useless Information About Movies. David L. Snyder, and listen to the show. It's actually a really good one.
Well, thank you. I've been delighted to be useless.
Well,
thank you.
All right, thanks.